Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. No matter what side of the boycott situation or Zazan the Unkillable you are on, it's still important to understand how Zazan functions, what his base stats and abilities are, and where he kind of stands as a character. And unfortunately, even though he's pretty hard to acquire and max right now, he is one of the cooler characters to have been released in War of the Visions. So let's go ahead, take a moment, and talk about that. One of the first things you'll notice about Zazan the Unkillable is that he is Earth Elemental and he has a movement of 4. Very few units in this game have a natural movement of 4. Most units have 3 and they can get +1. So having a natural movement of 4 is very powerful in its own right. He also has a natural jump of 2, which is also very powerful as well. He has access to Sub-Viking and Sub-Paladin. His TMR is fascinating, I personally think. It gives HP 330, defense 8, evasion 15. That's pretty powerful on its own, but the ability gives earth attack plus 25. It also gives earth resistance penetration 50 for 3 turns to self. Now, with the amount of slash penetration resistance that he has, or slash resistance penetration that Zazan has, adding on earth resistance penetration, there's almost nothing that's going to be able to stop Zazan from dealing damage to you. You're just going to have to take the hit. His mastery ability gives HP 10% for Earth allies, increases Earth attack 15 for Earth allies, increases slash resistance penetration 20 for self, and increases evasion for 5. A lot of people have been comparing Zazan to 2B, so when I'm looking at the stats, the first thing I wanted to look at was a comparison of Zazan and 2B. So we have here a moderately built Zazan. You can see there's nothing too exciting about him. He has a Sage's hat on, he has Odin, he has the Esper, he has evasive action, sharpened blade on, and you'll notice he comes in at about 103 agility, which is pretty fast. What's important with his kit though is the 14 defense and the 7 spirit. And what's unique about him is his resistances. Notice that he has 30% slash resistance right now in this build and 20% magic resistance. If we hop back and take a look at his natural resistances, you can see that he has 15% natural slash resistance and 10% natural magic resistance. This is very important, very powerful. He also has 10% missile resistance. So when we're thinking about summer units coming out here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be thinking about summer Lilith, right? Missile units. We're also thinking about Cowl in the future, because Cowl is going to be a direct counter to Zazan. So he is already going to have some resistance to that built into his kit. Now, in comparison to 2B, you'll notice 2B has 422 luck. And Zazan has 393. Now our 2B is moderately built as well. Of course, 2B has the advantage that she has essentially tetrasulfide that you can put on her, and you could put tetrasulfide on Zazan. It doesn't make much sense though. So you're gonna see 2B have a little bit more evasion almost in her kit as well. So there's definitely some flux room here. Now you can see her evade is at plus 61. Hopping over to Zazan, his evade is 44. But what's interesting between 2B and Zazan, 2B has 10 defense, 14 spirit, 95 agility, right? Zazan has 14 defense, 7 spirit, 103 agility. So we're going to see Zazan be a little bit faster. He's going to have about 400 to 500 more HP, again, depending on how you build him. And we could probably put his own TMR on here and potentially increase his stats other ways. You could also potentially build him with a little bit more defense in mind. That might be how I would do it, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint what exactly would be the optimal route, since I don't have him 120 yet, and I probably won't have him 120 for a couple weeks. His defense penetration is at 40. He has slash attack penetration at 55. I mean, he's a unit that is going to be able to kill and murder the opponents. One interesting thing about Zazan, he has disable resistance, immobilize resistance, and he has 10% disable resistance. He also has paralysis resistance. It's a little weird that he doesn't have charm resistance. A lot of the times with these limited double cost units, or, you know, we kind of see charm resistance added into their kit, or some type of resistance that's really rare, and Zazan doesn't really have that. It would have been nice to see frostbite resistance or something else. So a little bit lackluster on the status resistances here. Let's go ahead and talk about his abilities though, because I think his abilities are where everybody is gonna be looking. In terms of his passives, he's gonna have increased attack 20%, defense penetration plus 40, Viking lore for HP 12%, attack 24%, evasive action. This is this move you're probably going to guaranteed be setting, right? It adds that agility, it adds that evasion, increased agility 12%, and evasion plus 12 for himself as well. Comes with Holy Knight's protection, which is a defense 12, HP 12%, and interestingly, again, when we're talking about Cowl being a potential counter in the future, he's also going to be able to stack Unyielding Protection for an additional 15% missile resistance on top of that 10% that his base kit has. So, you know, unfortunately, Cowl is going to be coming up against Zazan, and he might have some natural elemental advantage, but Zazan could easily shift and flex into missile resistance if he needs to. Speed Reflex is a 30% chance to grant him haste for 3 turns on an opponent's attack. Definitely a good ability to set. I think with Zazan's kit though, it's going to be a hard toss between Paladin's Guard and Speed Reflex. I would have to kind of see, I could see like evading an attack, right? And having a chance to pop haste would be really nice. I'll kind of have to wait and see which one kind of in the brawl of things is going to be really good. Now, for his primary abilities, we do have Blade Lash, which is 126% modifier, range height 1 attack. With 3 range around him, it does get upgraded to decrease healing power 40 for 3 turns to target. This is actually pretty powerful, and I would say really important with the dominance of Yuna and other units that can heal, and also with units that have a significant amount of HP right now, like King Mont, Warrior of Light. This could be a very effective counter against them. Hamstringer is going to decrease agility 25% for 3 turns to target, which is really good. He does have to be right up against his opponent. We have the upgraded version of Dream Within a Dream, which is a 200% modifier, 50 defense penetration added onto himself, so he will have almost 100% defense penetration if you do have his defense pen passive set. And it does deal 200% modifier and guaranteed crit from behind. And interestingly enough, it has an enhanced range, which is very interesting, I think. And I'm kind of curious what qualifies as behind your opponent. For example, if you're using this ability diagonally, right? If you are in this square right here, would this count as behind your opponent? Or is it only right here? There's lots of different things and intricacies about this that I am very curious about. Fake Death, 200% chance to auto revive, which we all know about. Backbreaker, 50% chance to inflict disable for 3 turns when attacking from behind. This is interesting because the disable percentage is so high that I'm not sure most global players are going to be able to prevent this. So we have commonly been mitigating disable by either equipping things like Defense Breaker or Bracer, or equipping the helmet, right? But 50% chance to inflict disable is a huge amount. Granted, you do have to be directly behind your opponent. It's still a large amount to land, and I'm wondering if this is going to be exceptionally powerful. I could see, for example, a Quicken strategy utilizing this to take advantage of Zazan's naturally high movement and jump as well. Kingpin Smash is a 3 range 250% modifier attack, super powerful. I personally don't think it's like the end of the world, but with the amount of defense penetration / penetration that he has, this is going to kill non-tanks immediately. The question of sub job here is curious because he has a lot of really good sub job options. You can see that low profile gives him agility plus 12%, decreases chance of being targeted. Leaping slash is a critical chance plus 35%, which is amazing, and it's an AoE. And then of course Ripper is an AoE in front of him. Personally, I love Leaping Slash, and I am very excited to see builds for 100% crit builds focused around this. I think this could be a lot of fun. But there's also the utility we need to think about, right? With Sub Viking, if you think about a situation where, you know, maybe Zazan is out there and he needs to use launch, right, for a critical, you know, chance, or Drain Cyclone. The fact that he has access to Drain Cyclone is really interesting because it gives him a self-healing option. With Sub Paladin, of course, he has Immortal Spirit, he has Taunting Blade, he has Sentinel, he has Blade Bash, he has all of these things that are very powerful, and even Taunting Blade could be exceptionally powerful with the high range and high attack. Not only this, he also has his Limit Break Rampage, which increases his HP 40% for 3 turns and deals 200% modifier attack with an exceptionally high range, so it's going to be 4 range at range height 1. Now, if he's increasing his health 40%, that is going to give him an immense amount of survivability, and I actually think he's going to be a killing machine depending on if you can get him on the right type of team. I could see a situation, especially with Oberon coming out in the near future, where Zazan and Oberon completely dominate the global meta, potentially Eileen as well. The reason I'm saying this is if you haven't checked out Oberon yet, we'll go ahead and hop over and I'll show you guys that he comes with a weapon called the Gust Spear, which not only increases Earth Attack 30 for himself, it also increases Pierce Attack 15. So this is going to be great for him. It's going to be great for Eileen. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. And then his base kit as well is so crazy. He gets a TMR which affects the entire arena, nullifies haste for enemies, decreases critical rate 20%, and increases attack 40% for 3 turns to self. This is just going to be insane when you pair this with Zazan, right? And they're going to be two very dominant, powerful Earth units. The question is, who's the third powerful Earth unit going to be? My feeling, especially from the global perspective right now, is that it might be EX Summer Lilith that will be coming out potentially next week or the week after. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I will probably be doing another video later this afternoon. I won't be streaming because my raid schedule has been adjusted a little bit, so we're actually going to be raiding in Final Fantasy 14 today. But maybe I'll raid, or maybe I'll stream later tonight as a little, you know, late night sideshow. Not an OnlyFans show, a late night sideshow. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.